Ever feel like drowning in data? Imagine being an oil and gas company, early 2000.
Oh, yeah.
Seismic surveys, well, logs, production reports, a data deluge. And that's where GuildOne starts, a Canadian tech company. We're diving into their journey from, get this, oil and gas data wranglers to potential climate change pioneers.
It's wild, right?
Yeah. So from what I'm seeing, they didn't start with blockchain. They started by untangling complex data problems,
Absolutely.
specifically in the oil and gas royalty world, which I have to admit I didn't even know was a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing. And it's a really big, messy thing. Lots of money at stake.
Okay, so rewind to 2001. The dot-com bubble has just burst.
Right.
And two guys in Calgary, James Graham and Barry Kreiser, start GuildOne. But instead of chasing the next big tech thing, they're knee-deep in oil and gas data. What was the play there?
Well, everyone else was chasing those dot-com dreams.
Yeah.
But Graham and Kreiser, they saw an opportunity. Energy companies, especially when it came to royalty payments, were losing money like crazy.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Inaccurate data, missing data, it was a mess.
Wow. So GuildOne's software brought clarity to the chaos.
Exactly. They made it make sense, like finding a needle in a haystack, but the needle is actually millions of dollars.
Okay, so they were like the Sherlock Holmes of data, connecting the dots, seeing patterns no one else could.
That's a great way to put it. And their early software tells the story. In 2004, they launched Synergy Studio, which gave companies a consolidated view of their data. Then in 2006, they came out with REV3 to tackle those tricky royalty payments. By 2015, they launched Royalty Studio, which was all about maximizing royalty revenue.
So the reputation was built on making sense of this really complex data.
Absolutely.
But then they make a huge decision. They decide to take a leap of faith and jump into the world of blockchain, which around 2015, blockchain was still pretty fringe, right? Mostly associated with Bitcoin.
For sure. It was a gamble.
It was a gamble. So what made them think, okay, we're going to take everything we've built, all our expertise in oil and gas data, and throw it into this new world of blockchain?
Well, they saw an opportunity. They realized that blockchain could bring its transparency and security to the energy sector.
So they've conquered the oil and gas data world. They've got this like revolutionary blockchain platform.
Right.
And then they shift gears again. It's like they looked at the state of the planet and said, hold my beer.
Laughter.
Yeah, it's a fascinating pivot. Because around this time, ESG, that's environmental, social, and governance investing, starts to gain some serious traction.
Right.
And GuildOne just dives in headfirst.
But see, that's also where I start to get a little skeptical.
Okay, I see that.
Is this genuine, or is this just a slick marketing move? Like, are they just slapping a green label on their existing tech?
Yeah, there were definitely some skeptics, for sure. But you have to look at their actions. They form these partnerships that, they go way beyond just talking the talk. They joined Blockchain for Energy, for example, and started working with companies like Chevron, ExxonMobil, ConocoPhillips.
Okay, so we're not exactly talking about a bunch of, tree huggers here.
Yeah.
No, not exactly. But that's what's so interesting. They were looking at how to use blockchain to make oil and gas operations more efficient, reduce disputes, and, hopefully lower the environmental impact.
So actually applying the technology to real-world sustainability challenges.
Exactly. And then there's their ESG1 division. They partner with, let me get this right, Project Forest and the Swan River First Nation on a reforestation project. But they're not just planting trees, they're actually tokenizing trees on the blockchain.
Okay, how does that even work? Tokenizing a tree.
So it's a really groundbreaking approach to funding climate action. Basically, each tree they plant becomes a digital asset, a token that represents a verifiable carbon sink.
Wait, so I can, buy a digital tree?
It's more about investing in a reforestation project, right? And because it's on the blockchain, everything is transparent, it's traceable, your money is actually going to planting trees, and you can see the impact.
Okay, yeah, because that's always been the problem. How do you know your donation is actually going to plant a tree?
Right. And for companies trying to offset their carbon emissions, they can buy these tokens and, support reforestation while also benefiting the Swan River First Nation. It's a win-win.
So it's not just about planting trees. It's about this whole system for verifying and tracking carbon credits. That brings us to their big announcement at Cardano Summit 2024. Cardano Summit 2024, GuildOne makes this big announcement. Groundbreaking ecosystem developments for climate action.
Okay, sounds exciting, but I gotta say, also a little vague. What are they actually doing? Well, they're taking their expertise and they're bringing it to the world of carbon credits.
Okay.
Remember how they started by bringing order to all that chaotic oil and gas data? They're applying that same rigor to carbon markets, which, let's be honest, could definitely use some cleaning up.
Because, yeah, right now, carbon credits feel a bit like a black box, don't they? Like, how do you really know if you're supporting a legit project or just, some shady scheme?
Exactly. And that's what GuildOne wants to fix.
Okay.
Their V10N project is a really good example, actually. So imagine a facility that's capturing carbon dioxide directly from the air
Okay.
and then storing it safely underground.
Right.
But how do you actually prove that's happening? And how do you measure it in a way that companies can actually use to offset their emissions?
Yeah, it's not like you can just, stick a meter in the ground, right?
Right. It's tricky. But that's where GuildOne's system comes in. Sensors, data analytics, and blockchain. They're using all of it to track that whole process, from capture to credit.
Okay, so walk me through it. Let's say this carbon capture facility.
Okay.
What happens?
So you've got all these sensors in place measuring how much carbon you're capturing.
Gotcha.
And then all that data, it gets fed into GuildOne's platform, which they've built on the blockchain, of course.
Okay, so it's all tamper-proof, secure.
It's all verified, recorded, time-stamped. Basically, it's given a digital certificate of authenticity, you could say.
Ooh, fancy.
And then each ton of carbon that's captured, it becomes a digital token, a carbon credit that anyone can track and trade.
So it's like a carbon credit, but with a passport. You know exactly where it came from, what it represents.
That's precisely. And then companies can choose to sell those verified carbon credits on a public blockchain, like Cardano, for example. It just brings a new level of transparency to a market that, frankly, desperately needs it.
Okay, so instead of just trusting companies to, self-report their emissions and hope for the best, we have a system that's trackable, it's transparent.
Yep, it's all out in the open, easily verifiable.
Huh. And you know what's cool about this? It's not just for these big corporations. I could see this being used by, everyday people who want to invest in climate action.
Right. Imagine just logging onto your phone and you can use these blockchain tokens to directly invest in a reforestation project, a solar farm, even carbon capture technology like we were just talking about.
You're saying this could change how everyday people engage with climate action.
It has the potential.
Yeah.
It democratizes climate action, really. You see exactly where your money's going. You can actually track the progress of different projects, and you're directly part of the solution.
Wow. Okay, big picture time. GuildOne. Trailblazers or just, another tech company riding the hype wave?
It's still early days for sure, but I think what's exciting is they're actually applying this technology, this new technology, to a real world problem.
Right.
They're not just disrupting for the sake of disrupting. They're building tools that could fundamentally change how we approach, how we tackle climate change.
That's something worth paying attention to. And you know what I find so interesting about GuildOne? It's a story of innovation coming from an unexpected place. Remember, these guys started in the oil patch, and now they're using that expertise to potentially revolutionize climate action.
It just goes to show you, solutions can come from anywhere, right?
This deep dive has given us a lot to think about. Who knows? Maybe we'll all be investing in trees on the blockchain sooner than we think.
Stranger things have happened.
That's our show for today. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into GuildOne and the potential of blockchain technology to really make a difference in the world. Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.